we visited the Grand Canyon and took a trip down the bottom of the Grand Canyon by pack mule. We hadn't gone too far when my wife's mule stumbled. My wife quietly said, "That's once." We proceeded a little further, and the mule stumbled again, and one more time my wife said quietly, "That's twice." We hadn't gone a half a mile when the mule stumbled the third time. My wife quietly removed a revolver from her pocket and shot the mule dead. I started to protest over her treatment of the mule when she looked at me and quietly said, "That's once." When Brother Cron asked me, he came to me the other day and he goes, "We're going to renew our vows." And it's just one of these quirks with my brain. I hear things. I'm not hearing as well as I used to. I thought he said, "We're going to renew our vows." And I knew this thing was coming up, and you'd think my brain would have went right to vows. And so instantly my mind goes to, people talk to their pastor about a lot of things. So I'm thinking colonics. And we're back there in the vestibule. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to, look comfortable. And then he says, "And we want you to do it." So I was glad that as the conversation went on, I got into the right mode and realized, so I just smoothly, nodded like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I knew you were talking about." Virgil and Sharon, the decision to marry was based on love, and obviously that has never changed between you two. A strong marriage is dependent on many factors. Beyond the love, respect, and trust that you share with each other, there has to be a strong sense of commitment and loyalty that binds you. And maybe a pistol in Sharon's bedside table. A shared faith and belief in God and His grace in your lives is important in building a strong marriage. The first thing that my wife and I got to witness when we came to Lakeland in June, the end of June, I'm going to say June 29th, maybe of 1995, is the first stop was their house. And many, many, many stops after that. And we noticed a marriage that had a strong bond and a strong family. And the thing that was so important to us during the first years that we were here is that family loved God and loved church. And when we would go there on Sunday afternoons, they would talk about the service and talk about the positive things and the positive impact that it had. When you sit in amongst that and you hear it, all you have to do is track backwards and realize this is how they've always been. Church has always been the focal point. Therefore, God has always been the focal point of the family. That's why they're still here for 50 years and counting, and they'll continue to do so. So the words that you speak to each other today are to be the cornerstone, and have been the cornerstone of your life together from this day forward. Virgil, do you solemnly agree before God and these witnesses to continue to take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, to love and respect her, honor and cherish her, in health and in sickness, in prosperity and in adversity, and having left all others, to keep yourself only unto her, so long as you both shall live, and to take her out where she wants to eat, when she wants to, and to hold her purse when she's trying on her dress, and to continue to cook her breakfast and learn to separate laundry? I do. Sharon, do you in like manner solemnly agree to keep this man? Will you please join hands and repeat the following? I, Virgil, keep you, Sharon.
I, Virgil, keep you, Sharon.
To be my wedded wife. And I do promise before God and these witnesses.
And I do promise before God and these witnesses.
To continue to be your loving and faithful husband.
Continue to be your loving and faithful husband.
In plenty and want. In joy and sorrow. In sickness and in health. As long as we both shall live.
As long as we both shall live.
Sharon, I, Sharon, keep you, Virgil.
I, Sharon, keep you, Virgil.
To be my wedded husband.
To be my wedded husband.
And I promise before God and these witnesses.
And I promise before God and His witnesses.
To be your loving and faithful wife,
be your loving and faithful wife,
in plenty and in want.
and plenty of want,
Yeah. That works. In plenty of want. In joy and sorrow,
joy and sorrow,
in sickness and health, as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both.
I pronounce you still married for 50 years and counting. And God bless you. You may now push the bride again.